What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be talking about Senseonics, ticker symbol SENS. And now they have a very massive catalyst coming up in the next couple of trading days. So we're going to go over exactly what this catalyst is, what we can expect from it, and where we can expect to see the stock price of Senseonics go in the near future. We're also going to go over some of the institutional ownership updates that we have received from Senseonics. So before we get into all of that information, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button and hit the subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video, so you get to stay up to date on all of your favorite stocks, learn about a couple of new ones, and see exactly which options I am trading and which strategies I am using to trade them. Now, taking a look at the chart of SENS, we can see that it had an absolutely massive sell-off over the last week and a half. Now, we've seen this a lot with the hyper-growth stocks that we have been talking about on this channel, and SENS got hit the hardest, if not the most hard, out of all of the different stocks that we have been talking about. So we saw that it was trading in the mid $5 range, and it is now trading down in the mid $3 range with a down 10% day on Friday. So if you haven't initiated a Senseonics position, or if you don't know yet a lot about this company, or if you want to average into a bigger position in Senseonics, this could be a really good time to do it. We've seen a massive sell-off due to inflation concerns and rising bond yields. And I think once all of this settles down in the market, we are going to see another massive run-up in Senseonics and a lot of the other hyper-growth names that we have been talking about. But I'm not a financial advisor. None of these videos are financial advice, and these are for educational purposes only. So let's get into this very big catalyst that we have coming up for Senseonics in the near future. So it is going to be happening on March 4th. And essentially what this event is going to be is it's happening after market close, and this is going to be Senseonics earnings report. So earnings for a lot of these small cap companies is very important, but there is one aspect of their earnings report that we need to keep a closer lookout for, and that is going to be the guidance that the company issues or decides not to issue. So essentially what guidance is it's the forward-looking statements that the company gives out to their investors. They basically say what they expect their revenues to be in the coming quarters and give any future prospects for new products and anything else really important and groundbreaking going on with the company at the current time. So for Senseonics, that is going to be their current pending FDA approval for the 180-day eversense model in the United States, their distribution agreements with Ascensia, and their new 365-day eversense, which should be released in the coming quarters. Now, I'm expecting this to actually come out in the first quarter of 2022 or later, but we're going to get into that a little bit later in this video. As we see from Senseonics' previous earnings, we can see that the consensus estimate for this quarter is going to be negative 11 cents. So the consensus estimate for last quarter was actually negative 6 cents. So it's a little bit interesting that Senseonics, the analysts, have actually put their estimates for their earnings per share lower than what they were at previously. Now, there's a couple of reasons why this may be that the EPS estimate is lower than we've seen in previous quarters. We can see 6 cents, 6 cents, and then 12 cents, 12 cents, 16 cents, and these are all negative numbers. And the reason why we're seeing this number jump back up for this coming quarter is that Senseonics has done a couple of dilutive share offerings, so there are more outstanding shares in the market. So essentially how EPS works is they take some form of their revenue and divide it by the shares outstanding. So the first step of Senseonics guidance that I think we need to keep a lookout for is this distribution agreement that they have with Ascensia. So we can see that Senseonics announces initiation of European commercial efforts by partner Ascensia Diabetes Care. Now, this was announced in the first quarter of 2021, so we are not going to see any results from their partnership for the earnings report that is coming up on March 4th. Now, what we are going to see, though, is that if you take a look a little bit deeper in this article, Ascensia has already been providing distribution support for the 90-day eversense in the United States, which is a very important sign. We're also looking for FDA approval out of Senseonics coming soon. We already have approval in Europe for the 180-day model, and we are just looking to get more approval, an FDA approval for this eversense 180-day model, the continuous glucose monitoring system in the United States. Once this happens, we are going to see revenue numbers massively increase, since Senseonics is going to have 2 models in the market and have penetrated the European market as well. In addition to this pending FDA approval and already a distribution agreement to actually distribute this 180-day eversense model throughout Europe, Senseonics has also been getting a lot of institutional backing over the last quarter. So coming over here, we can actually see that Soros Fund Management, spearheaded by famous investor George Soros, owns a very significant position in Senseonics, owning about 12.2 million shares. Now, coming down a little bit lower, we can actually see that a lot of these different institutions own very large positions. We can see that Gilder, Gagnon, Ho & Co. LLC owns about 14.4 million shares. We have BlackRock with a bunch of shares at about 2.8 million, Vanguard with about 7.2 million, and it's always good to see these very big institutions that are very popular and well-known, putting a lot of capital behind these smaller cap companies. Now, we also have down here Renaissance Technologies with a pretty substantial position of about 1 million shares. Now, if you don't know about Renaissance Technologies and you are interested in hedge funds and algorithmic trading, this company had a fund called the Medallion Fund that was the most successful fund of all time in hedge funds. They were delivering absolutely insane returns year over year. I think the numbers were actually 70%, which is absolutely unheard of in the stock market. Now, this fund is currently closed to outside investors, and there hasn't been a lot of information on it since the early to mid 2000s. But if you want to take a look more at this algorithmic trading and what this company was actually doing, Renaissance Technologies is a very interesting thing to look into. Now, Senseonics is in a very good position, in my opinion, for the long term. They have a lot of institutional backing, pending FDA approval for their brand new 180-day eversense in the United States. They have already gotten that model approved in different European countries, and it is already being marketed and delivered to consumers. Now, in addition to this, Senseonics is absolutely upping the game and working on getting a 365-day version of the eversense continuous glucose monitoring system approved by the FDA. Now, this article was put out in October of 2020, and we are still waiting for FDA approval for the 180-day model. So I would surmise that basically Senseonics already has a prototype version of this 365-day version. They just have to perform research studies on it and make sure they get FDA approval for this 180-day model. That's why I think we could see Senseonics application go in for this new 365-day model to the FDA in the first or second quarter of 2022. Now, Senseonics is a game-changing company in terms of diabetes care management. Their continuous glucose monitoring system is absolutely amazing. They're competing directly with Dexcom, and if we've seen Dexcom, I've gone over this in a couple of my previous videos, they have a share price and a valuation that is much higher than Senseonics, and Senseonics delivers a much better product. So now coming back over to the chart of Senseonics, let's go over some of what my price targets I think that are reasonable for what could happen to Senseonics in the near future. If they come out and crush that earnings estimate that we saw of negative earning, or their earnings per share of negative 11 cents, we could see Senseonics go all the way back up into the $4 range. Now, I think this company is definitely going to be a double-digit or even triple-digit company in the future. They just have to prove to the market that they are bringing in revenue. If they can turn a profit in the next couple of quarters through the sales of their eversense systems, we're also going to see Senseonics go absolutely crazy. Once they get FDA approval as well, we could see a very significant run-up in their share price. But as we've seen with a lot of big pieces of news come out regarding these hyper-growth low low small cap stocks that we have seen, there is sometimes a significant sell the news event, which is never good for short-term investors. But if you are investing in a company like Senseonics long-term, and we eventually do see a sell the news event, once the FDA approves the 180-day eversense, then that is just going to be a great buying opportunity for you, in my opinion. So that is going to be it for this update on Senseonics. If you guys enjoyed the information that I provided for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button and hit the subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video, so you get to stay up to date on all of your favorite stocks, learn about a couple of new ones, and see exactly which options I am trading and which strategies I am using to trade them. So I hope you guys are having a great weekend, and I'll see you guys in the next video.